All right. So let me go ahead and send this link out so people can hop in. Then we're going to go ahead and get started. There we go. All right, bet. So what's going on, everybody? It's Play Make Your Way with the Playbook. And so just going to be taking a look at some potential setups, some potential sales and buys for today, London and New York session. Now, what is crazy is I had a Zoom call with the members at 9 o'clock today. And I went over US30. I went over everything up here. But it's just crazy how as soon as the Zoom call ended, literally it ended at 10, and it's 2:35 right now. So 1, 12, 11, 10. Literally as soon as the Zoom call ended, the move I said that I was waiting to see happen, London session literally happened. And I missed it. But just like I was saying in the Zoom call, you're not gonna be able to hit every trade. You're gonna miss some opportunities. It is what it is. But it's just crazy how literally as soon as the Zoom call ended, this move happened. This move started. Then this move kept pushing and did its thing. So that's fine. But again, it's still the beginning of London session hasn't started yet, or New York. So what I want to see now is how US30 is going to react when it hits the bottom of the zone, or if it does hit the bottom of the zone. So that's one we're looking at. Hey, what's going on, Thuggin? Yeah, but that's crazy. I literally missed the move. Like as soon as I ended the Zoom call and went to go to sleep, the move started, which is fine though. And then NAS is doing the same thing. It's still underneath the zone right here, but as you can see, by this wick or this rejection wick, it's still struggling to stay underneath this level, which is fine because we can see US30 rejected a little bit and US30 is rejecting. So makes sense why NAS is rejecting a little bit, but I'd like to see NAS stay underneath this level of price as it is so far for this 4-hour time frame. It started underneath here. It's still underneath here for now. That's the furthest it went. So I'd like to see if it will stay underneath here and then potentially look for a sell. That's what I'd like to see. So I'm going to be looking for NAS sells for sure. Just taking a closer look at it to see how it's looking. It's doing a retest of this level. So it's looking good for potentially a sell later into the session. I just need to see some more candlesticks and see what those next candlesticks do. Because I don't like to hop in too early. I like to see multiple confirmations confirming that my analysis is correct and that's most likely going to go my way. And it's still too early because it can definitely flip as soon as 3 a.m. starts, or a lot can happen within these next candlesticks. So I'm just going to be waiting to see exactly what it decides to do. Give me 1 second. All right, but so I'm gonna keep an eye on NAS. GBPJPY is in the middle of the zone, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I could maybe look for a setup, but not too worried about those. USDX is looking nice. I could potentially look for a sell later into the session. I'm keeping an eye on that to see what it's going to do. US oil, I'm going to wait till it pushes down here to see how it reacts to hitting the bottom of this zone, whether I finally even want to mess with it. But as of now, I'm just going to be watching it, leaving it alone. It's obviously in a downtrend. It's been in a downtrend since June. It's just slowly been doing this thing. So what I want to do is wait for it to see what it's going to do here. I'd like to see it break underneath here and then continue for sales. That'd be nice, but just have to wait until a few hours from now to see exactly what it's going to do. Probably the next 4-hour candlestick will determine something, because I still got a few to go before it hits the bottom of the zone. So I'm just going to be paying attention to that, see what it's going to do. Gold, same thing. 1, 12, 11, 10. Literally as soon as the Zoom call ended, the move started, which is craziness. So maybe I got to start paying attention to 10, 11 o'clock, because literally this move started. So those that was in the Zoom call last night, if y'all were still up after the Zoom call, y'all are paying attention to the charts, because I literally marked this up for y'all on the Zoom call, as well as the futures. I marked everything up for y'all, actually. Everything I have up here I marked up for y'all. But these and the futures and indices were literally the ones I marked up, talking about potential setups, what I was looking for, and it literally did what I was looking for. I just didn't anticipate it to do it as early as it did it, but that is what it is. It happens. So now I'm just going to wait to see if it's going to retrace when London session starts or New York session to see if I can get in on the train. But silver is looking fine though. Silver is looking like a good setup. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on silver to see what that's trying to do. But one that I talked about on the Zoom call from Zealand JPY, and I actually like how it's pushing right now. It just did a retest is low, and now the next 15-minute candlestick's pushing. So I want to see what the next 15-minute candlestick does. I want to see if the next 15-minute candlestick is going to show it keep pushing, or it's going to retrace again. Because if so, it could potentially finish the move that I called out for the members on Friday. They could potentially finish that move. So let me see the exact signal I called for this one was on Friday, because I called this trade out on Friday. Let me see. 32. Yeah, it's kind of near my original entry, so that's perfect actually. So I'm going to wait for the next candlestick, see what it does, and then determine from there if I'm going to enter. But it does look like a good setup for London session. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this to see what it's going to do. All right, so let me see what else we got here. And then New Zealand USD is still doing, just like I said in the Zoom call, we went over this one. And yeah, just like I said, it was too late to join. And as you can see, it's just continued to drop since the Zoom call. So this is one of the ones where you could have took that risk to enter, but I personally have a set of rules, and I like to wait to enter as close to the zone as possible. I don't really like to chase trades, and as you can see, it literally just been dropping since the Zoom call. So there was no chance to enter the trade, well, to get a good entry, because again, it's just been dumping since the Zoom call. 1, 12, 11, 10. The Zoom call was at 9 o'clock, and it's literally just been dumping since then. It did a little retracement here, so we could have probably got in there, but again, I don't trade during that time, and these are just a few of the pairs that started to do their move before London session. But that's normal. That is normal, but it is pushing. It's already towards the middle of the zone. So this one I'm most likely just going to leave alone, because it showed that it did not want to retrace. So unless it does a crazy bounce retracement back to the top of the zone in New York session or something like that, I'm not even going to be messing with New Zealand USD as of now, because it's too far gone. New Zealand JPY is still Hasn't broken this level yet, which is fine. I want to see if it's going to break the level in the next candlestick anyways. So that's perfect. So the next candlestick, I might retrace a little and then go for the push, or it might just start pushing and then it might retrace the next candlestick, one of the two. But let me see here. Sorry, did the retracements, the retest. Yeah, so the next candlestick is going to be crucial to see exactly what New Zealand JPY is going to try to do for the next couple hours. Let's see here. What else can we look at? The Euro USD is looking like a good. So here's the next candle. So Euro USD is looking good too. It's kind of a little farther from the zone, but it already did its retest. So it would kind of be okay to enter right here, maybe 76, 76. So it's like 20, 30 pips from the entry that I kind of don't like. So I might just leave it alone. But I'm trying to see what New Zealand JPY is doing, because it's just pushing. So it's got to retrace it at some point a little bit. So I want to see if it's going to do that. So the candle's green, it's turning red. Let's see what New Zealand JPY does. AUD-JPY. Let's see what AUD-JPY is doing. AUD-JPY is looking very similar to New Zealand JPY. So I might look for setups for both of these. Now they're obviously different pairs. They both have the JPY for sales, obviously, but the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, they got different things going on. But you can see from these candlesticks, they're looking very similar as of now. So I could see a potential setup here. And we see it retracing a little bit, which is exactly what I said I wanted to see it do. I want to see it retest this level. And as you can see, it is clearly retesting that level, like I said. And it's rejecting it a little bit, which is fine. And now it's pushing back down. So if it continues to push, I want to see what's going to retrace more. But if it continues to push, I might enter this. But the thing is, sometimes the move will start before London session, or sometimes as soon as 3 o'clock hits, it'll want to retrace, then start the move. So that's why I'm not in a rush to enter the trade, because I want to get as close to the entry, the ideal entry as possible. That way I'm in the least amount of drawdown as possible and catching the most amount of pips possible. But it looks like it's about to just keep dropping. So that's what it looks like it's going to do. So I might enter, and it might just retrace the next 15-minute candlestick. But I'm honestly okay with holding drawdown as long as I get a good position in. So it's struggling a little bit to break it. It keeps going from 135 to 134. It went to 133 one time. So if it goes to 133 or 132, I might enter the trade, but it still hasn't moved too far. It keeps bouncing back. So just gonna keep an eye on it. So it's at 133 again. So if it goes to like 133 even, I might just enter. Would have been nice to have gotten in at 1 a.m. because that thing did the retest and then it dropped. But it is what it is. I decided to get some sleep. So now I'm just watching the chart right here. I'm looking at a bunch of stuff. Euro USD is doing a retest. Silver's doing the gold's doing this thing. USDX looking like it wants to keep dropping. Interesting. NAS100 did another retest. The last 15 minute ended red. It's doing another retest right here though. Let's see here. USD is looking fine. GBPJPY still playing at the zone right here, which is cool. Your AUD still not showing us anything. Your GBP is not showing us. So I'm just going through the other charts. See if there's any other charts right now that I need to dash back and forth to. But it looks like I can just focus mainly on AUD/JPY and New Zealand JPY for now. AUD/CHF's looking interesting too. Did the retest last candlestick. Now this 15 minute is pushing. So I could see some potential sales here. Let's see. Let's see some potential sales here. Put the stop loss. That's a decent stop loss. Doesn't have to be too crazy. Could put it above here if you want to be super safe. But let's see. Let me just double check. Because I already did the analysis. Yeah. So you can see it was consolidation up here. Finally broke through it. Then it chilled in here for a couple days. Then broke to the next level. This is the yellow line. Is a level in the 4-hour time frame. Broke through it. Retested. Shot to hit bottom zone. Shot back up. And now it retested the level again. And so I'd like to see it drop back down to the bottom of the zone again. And that's what it looks like it's trying to do. So this could be a good setup here as well. So I'm going to be paying attention to this one as well. Let's see here. New Zealand Usd alone. Yep. So it's still doing a retest, which is fine. So we probably won't enter this until into London session, which is cool. It's no rush. I mean, no rush to jump into trades. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, and then you just see like literally right here, it's doing exactly what I presumed it was going to do. And the reason why I was able to predict it was going to retrace is just literally just repetition. Like price repeats itself all the time. Literally, price does the same thing on any chart you look at. Now it just reacts and does those things on different price levels and different zones, but fundamentally, price does the same thing on every chart. So if you know how to read candlesticks on one chart and you really know how to read one chart, you'll be able to read any chart you go onto and be able to catch pips. So it's still bouncing between these 3 pips. It's still at 134. Lowest we've seen it go is 133. Highest we've seen it go so far this candlestick is 136, almost 137. And it's just playing around on this level of price right here, which is fine. It did a slight retest to this level here, but it has not broken this level yet, which is a good sign for it to potentially continue the downtrend. Because as you can see here, you can see the downtrend happening right here. It just shot back up, shot back down. So now I'm wanting to see the retest and to shoot back down and to continue down. That's what I like to see. And that's what it's showing it might potentially do. But when the next candlestick comes, it could very much so shoot, who knows, to this level or to this level, then shoot back down. So you just have to wait right now to see exactly what it's going to do. That way we don't jump the gun too early, but also we don't miss the move at all as well. So Zealand CAD looking interesting. Let's see. So that thing already started dropping since the day started. We're in a downtrend somewhat. We can see the downtrend here. Bam, bam, bam. Retest, retest, retest. It retests it. So I'm going to see it hit here. Then after it breaks that low, potentially keep going to the downside. But for New Zealand CAD, move already started. It's already almost in the middle of the zone underneath this level here. So I don't even know if I want to mess with it. I might just watch it, honestly. But I don't know if I want to see if it's going to retrace some. But if it doesn't retrace, that's fine. I might keep an eye on this to see what it does. See if I can get an entry on it. See if it retraces some more. If it continues to dump, I'm going to leave it alone. So here's the next 5-minute candlestick. Let's see what this is going to do. Yep, everything's retracing. Everything's retracing. Cool. USD looking like it wants to push. Let's see what your USD is looking like. It's already pushed a decent amount so far, so I would like to see it retrace a little bit more before the session starts, but it looks like it's underneath this level of price already. And it's on top of this level of price, so it's in a little sandwich, which would explain these candlesticks here, kind of bobbing back and forth. So it's underneath this level of price, like I just said. We can see it a little bit clearer now in the smaller time frame, but that's what the daily candlesticks were showing. It already did the retest here, did a retest here, that we can see by these rejection wicks. So it very much so could continue to break down to the downside and at least hit the middle of the zone. But it's retracing a little bit, so I'd like to see what the next candlestick does, whether it's going to be another green candle shooting up to retest another level, or it's going to be shooting down to break through another level. That's what I like to see, because it's already pretty far into the zone. And from here, 99.75 to the top of the zone, that's already like 30 plus pips. So, and that's not even including above the zone. So I'm not trying to do a huge stop loss if necessary. So I want to see exactly what it is going to do. But if it just continues to dump, I might just leave it alone unless I'm confident it's not going to retrace back up on us, or, once TPs get hit, I just either close or move SL in profit. That's usually how I do things if I jump into trades like that. But as you can see, it's still playing at this level of price. So the next candlestick might tell us a little bit more on what we should do, because London session does start in 3 minutes. And London session, usually 3 a.m., a lot of retracements happen or the pushes begin. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to see exactly what happens as soon as London session starts. But also, it's another 15-minute candlestick appearing. So a 15-minute candlesticks are very important. Every quarter of an hour is very important. And the beginning of the hour is very important, because the beginning of the hour, you get a 15-minute candlestick, you get a 5-minute candlestick, you get an hour candlestick. Sometimes you'll get a 4-hour new candlestick. You get a lot of candlesticks on beginning of the hour, just like the end of the hour, the middle of the hour, etc. So 15-minute candlesticks are very important because a lot can happen based off of the quarters. So that's the main reason why I like to wait. That's why I like to look on the 15-minute mainly, and also why I like to wait, like for the next 15-minute candlestick, to see exactly what price is most likely to do. But it's still playing at this price, so maybe the next candlestick starts to push down. I might enter because it's showing for the past 15 minutes it hasn't really broken past this level, which is a good sign. We just got 1 minute left. Pushing down. Yeah. I think it's pushing. I like to see on CHF too. Alright. Speaking of pushing, your USD just decided to continue to dump, which is fine. Let's see what this is going to do. So it just broke 33. It just broke 85.33. So I might enter. This is going back here too. So yeah, I might enter this. It could retrace very much so after the first TP or two, though. But that's part of the game. But I might enter this right now. It is very tempting. I'm going to wait a couple minutes to see what it does. It is very tempting. Same thing AUDJPY. It's very tempting. Yeah, I'm entering these. I'm entering New Zealand JPY and I'm entering AUDJPY. I'm entering those right now. Yep, I'm entering those right now. Let's see what these do. And I'm about to put the signals in for this right now. But I put the signals in. I'm entering AUDJPY as well. And I'm entering New Zealand JPY. And before I put these signals in, I'm just trying to see ADCHS looking nice too. It's pushing. It's already hit this wick here, so this is looking pretty good too. AUDJPY is looking good. I mean, AUDCHF is looking good too. So I might enter this one as well. Now, obviously, if your account can handle it, don't enter all these trades at once, especially because there's a potential that there can be retracement and drawdowns. But as of now, all three of these are looking good. Ooh, NAS100 is looking nice too. Ooh, and this one. Okay, so we got a bunch of things happening 2 minutes into London session. USDX is looking good, NAS100 is looking good. So y'all think about USDX. Well, first let me do these signals because y'all know that we just entered New Zealand JPY and y'all know we just entered AUDJPY and they're already starting to do their thing. So let me go ahead and go on the Telegram, put these in, and then we're going to hop and see what those other trades are looking like. But this is a good example of what I mean. There's literally opportunities everywhere. Obviously, no TPs have gotten hit yet. But as you can see, literally this London session started. All these moves are happening. Not a coincidence. I literally just went to like 4 different charts and they're all starting to do their move. Just like I said, usually happens. What usually happens at the beginning of London. So AUDJPY entry. What was my entry for AUDJPY? There's a lot of moves happening right now, but we're just gonna have to take our time with it. 95.81. SL AUDJPY. Yeah, it could very much. And you know, it's just crazy the way I trade. Like, I feel like the next candlestick is gonna retrace and do a retest because it didn't do it this candlestick. But like I said before, I'm fine with that happening because there's also the chance that I could continue to push 96. Just putting these in. I'm gonna put the TPs in a second. But like I said, there are a lot of moves happening. I don't want to miss any moves. So let me see what else is going down right now. 80 in Zealand is fine. Like I said, AUD looking real nice. I might mess with that. Euro USD. Let's see. So I think just did a huge retracement. So it's kind of good that we didn't enter that. Ooh, that thing just dropped. Oh man, I feel upset about that. Maybe I should have entered when they did that retest here, because that would have been fine. It would have been up, but it is what it is. I was looking at other pairs at the time. NAS100 is looking good. So depending on what the next candlestick does, I might enter NAS as well as maybe USDX, depending on what the next candlestick does. And US oil, coincidentally, is pushing as well. 5 minutes into London session, all these trades are pushing. Well, not when I say trades, all these pairs are pushing. Again, not a coincidence. This is literally what London session does. Silver's pushing, silver's dumping. A lot of moves happening right now. A lot of moves happening. I need to put my TPs for even this is looking like another New Zealand CHF setup. This is what I mean. There's literally opportunities everywhere. Now, obviously, especially when you're beginning and depending on your account size, you can only focus on, it's suggested focus on 1 or 2 trades at a time. But literally, as you can see, there's a bunch of moves happening as we speak. But I need to put the TPs in for AED JPY. Now, obviously, you didn't see me put New Zealand JPY into the free signal room because that is still a signal strictly for the members. Unless you're in the live stream, obviously, then you can hop into that trade as well. Because like I said, I'm in those trades. I'm liking how New Zealand CHF is looking. So let me just look and see if we've hit TP1 for New Zealand JPY. And like I said, I need to put the TPs for AED JPY. I'm about to do those in a second. Give me 1 second. 1 pip away from TP1 for New Zealand JPY. AED JPY is dropping as well. So yeah, looking good so far. But again, literally just 7 minutes into London session. So let me put the TPs for AED JPY. TP1 is going to be, where did I enter? 85.81. So literally entered from right here. TP1 is probably, I'm probably put TP1 like 85. I'm going to put TP1 85.75. TP2, I'm going to put probably like, what's right here now? I'll do like 85.70. Because it's going to struggle to break this level. But if it breaks this level, I see it ripping in a good one. But we're just going to chill with these levels for now, see what it does. And yeah, it's hitting those levels and it's doing a little retracement right now, which is fine. AUD/JPY is doing the same thing, which is fine. They both missed the first TP by 1 pip. It's not a coincidence. That's just what it does. They're both moving very similar. So the next 15-minute candlestick is going to be very important. Like usual, US30 just hit the bottom of the zone. And as you can see, as soon as it hit the bottom of the zone, look what's happening. It's reacting and rejecting off of it. So we got to see what it's going to do later into London and New York session, if it's going to continue to the upside or if it's going to break back under here and continue to the downside. NAS100 is doing a nice little retrace. USDXs as well. Silver is as well. Silver is looking like another good setup as well. So I'll be keeping my eye on silver, seeing what the next candlestick does, because this is looking like a nice setup as well. Euro USD, just going to leave that one alone. Euro JPY is doing a retest as well. Euro AD, I'm going to leave alone. Euro GBP. I'm going to leave alone too, because I'm not sure what it's trying to do yet. Zealand JPY, everything's just doing a nice little retracement, which is completely normal and fine. I'm not tripping about that. Zealand CHF's looking like a potential setup as well, just like New Zealand CAD is looking nice too. Not gonna lie, all these are looking like good setups right here. So I'm about to be paying attention to a lot of pairs. The next candlestick. Yeah, it's looking good though. Yeah, I rejected off this level right here, which is to be expected. That's why the TP was 1 pip away from where it rejected. Because if it breaks past that level, then it's most likely going to continue going to the downside. But we're going to see what London session brings for us. Because it's still early into the session. Let's see here. Yeah, everything's just doing a nice little retracement. So we're going to see what it does in a little bit. Everything else looking cool. We know the setups. US30 still reacting off of the zone level. NAS is reacting because US30 is reacting. Just like how Euro30 is reacting. Like you literally see everything doing the same thing at the same time. And I hope you're not looking at this and thinking, wow, what a coincidence. Now silver and gold are not doing that. They said, fuck it, we're going to keep pushing. So, depending on the next candlestick, I might call these trades out as well. It's already started this move, but I want to see if the next candlestick is going to be a retracement candle so we can get in at the best entry possible for those two. Now, if it doesn't continue to retrace, I will determine what I'm going to do if that happens, but I'd like it to retrace first. We see ADJPY is doing the same thing as US30 and all the other futures and indices, and you can't see all these prices doing the same thing at the same time, and think this is just a coincidence. Like I said before, literally price does the same stuff. Like price does the same shit, just at different times, sometimes different price levels in different zones, but literally price does the same stuff for the most part. So we're just going to be chilling right now. So that's how this goes. London session literally just started. So we're just going to be waiting for volume to come into place, as well as look at for other potential setups, and just see how price moves and works in real time. Silver and gold are looking really good to me right now. I definitely want to hop in on these, but I don't like to chase trades. So I'm going to see if it is going to come to me a little bit. I want to see if price is going to come back to me. And if not, I might hop in. But hopping into trades that aren't close to entries, you have to understand the risk you're taking. You have to understand that price, if it does decide to retrace, You'll be in more drawdown than if you were to wait. Every decision, there are consequences, whether good or bad consequences. You have to understand and accept everything that can potentially happen at all times. Because if you don't do that, then trading will drive you crazy because you're just expecting to win all the time. And then when things don't go your way, you just lose your shit. And that's not what we try to do here. We try to stay as sane as possible in trading. So we just chilling right now. See a bunch of potential setups. The new 15-minute candlestick started. NAS is already pushing. New Zealand JPY is starting to push, which is a good sign. NAS is looking good. NAS is looking like a good setup right here. But I just want to wait a little bit. The candlestick just started. It's no rush. It's no rush. London session just started. It's no rush. I'm gonna get my setup. Let's see. Could put it here. I want to put it. Let me give us a wiggle room. So put it right there. USDX. That thing just ran. Which is kind of annoying. What you had to run so far for? What you have to run so far for? So I'm looking at right here for this one. I could put it just right here. Could put it like right here. And put it right here. I still want the 3 risk to reward. But even when I put it right here, that brings it to a 1-to-1, which isn't too ideal. So to save the risk of drawdown, you could do a tighter stop loss, but you have to also understand that doing a tighter stop loss could potentially make you stop out sooner. But with trading, again, it's all about proper risk. It's all about decisions and understanding all possible consequences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So gold and silver are doing a nice retracement, which is what I wanted. And like I said, New Zealand JPY is doing a retracement candle. So I'm gonna get it down. I'm gonna get it down at some point because I feel like this happened on Friday as well. I was thinking the candle before was going to retrace, but it wasn't until the next candle. It was the retracement retest candle, which is fine because we still got a decent entry. We're not too much in drawdown, so that is fine. We still got a good entry waiting for price to retrace a little bit. And as we can see, it's retesting this level. I would like to see it not break past this level and continue to the downside. That'd be ideal. Same thing with this. I'd like to see it. I'd honestly like to see it not break past this level. But if it does, I'd like to see it not break past this level. But of course, we've seen trades in the past retrace to the zone and then do its move, which is why we like to try to enter trades as close to the zone as possible. Yeah, we're just going to see what it's doing. Let's see what it's going to do. We're going to look at NAS. NAS is retracing, which is fine. Yeah, so these are just the retracement candles right here, which is cool. So we're just going to be chilling to see how these candles close, how the next candles are going to be looking like, and to see whether or not that will be the time for us to enter. Now, obviously, we still got to keep in mind, we see right here, 15-minute time frame, US30, hit the bottom of the zone, then look what happened, rejected up, new candles pushing back up. So we're going to just see exactly what US30 does. US30 is either going to retrace, hit here, then shoot back down, or it's going to retrace up here, stack back up, then shoot up to the top of the zone, then potentially shoot down, or the uptrend can start. So there's a few things that can happen, but don't know what's going to most likely happen until we get more candlesticks. those are all the potential options. But what is most likely to happen between those options is still yet to come. Yeah, that thing's pushing up. Okay. Gold and silver said, no, we're going down. So I might call sales on these. So I was trying to wait to see what's going to retrace, but they don't want to retrace. So let me see something. But this one's pretty far for my liking. This one's pretty far for my liking. And I don't want to. It's already in the middle of the zone. And that would have been the perfect entry. Literally, as soon as I got off the charts, man, price just started moving. It's like, that's crazy. But it happens. But I'm just like, dang, it's like y'all waited till the Zoom call was over to start the move. But I just might take the L on gold because I don't want to chase the trade and then it retrace on me. That's one thing I don't want to do. I want to, like, it could most likely continue to go down. But I like to go for trades that are highly in my favor. I have the best entry possible, the best risk to reward possible. And things like that. So I might just have to take the L on gold. Now, if y'all want to enter, that's completely up to y'all. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. It looks like oil might potentially go down to the downside still. So going to be looking at that to see what it does. My target would be like right here. Just the first checkpoint, at least, for when the first TPs happen. This is where I'd like to see it go. Now, I could put it like right here. I might actually do that. I might actually put it right here. It's the ultimate TP. And then this just be the checkpoint. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. So we're just chilling right now. 20 minutes into London, New York. GBPJPY, New Zealand JPY are retracing. That's going back to the level. And see, this is exactly what I knew I was going to do and why I was waiting to enter. But I entered the candle too early because this would have been an even better entry right here. But it is what it is. Like I always say, when you do things right, know what you did right. When trades go right in your favor, know why they went in your favor. And mistakes you make or little errors you make, always note take them and acknowledge what you did wrong, what you did right. That way you can improve. Because if you don't acknowledge what you did right, you don't know what to continue to keep doing, and you don't acknowledge things that went wrong. You're just going to continue to do those things and make those same mistakes, thus building bad habits and not improving in all the areas you could possibly improve in. But we are still chilling. Yeah, I might just leave your USD alone. I'm not even going to look at that anymore. Yeah, these things are just dumping. And nobody's business. Which is annoying. So I might just wait for, see if it's going to, I might wait for a New York or pre-New York retest and maybe enter on that. But as of now, it looks like they're just pushing. So I'm just going to leave them be, let them do their thing for now at least. Those things are dumping. NAS100 did a retest. So these are looking like good potential sells. We already did the retest on the level. Rejected, shooting back down. Everything's shooting down. Oil's kind of weird because usually when gold's shooting down, oil will shoot up. But seems to be shooting down as of now. Yeah, gold and silver just going crazy. Should have hopped on that one. The last 15-minute candlestick. That probably would be the best time to enter. Yeah, it is what it is, though. Should have probably prioritized those over the currency pairs. But I still believe these are going to go our way. There'll still be decent pips. And there's always opportunities to enter trades later. There's also another reason I don't like to trip too much because just look at the pairs of trades I've called before. Like how many times it's price retraced back to entry, things like that multiple times. I'm not really tripping about that. I will check it out later to see if there's a potential possibility for re-entry, and then if not, just going to leave it be, charge it to the game. But like I was saying in the Zoom call for the members last night, your GBP is in an uptrend. It's retested this level here, as you can see. So might be looking for potential buy setups for your GBP. Now the targets are what I'm trying to figure out right now. I could put it here, could put it there. I might just put it right here. Let me see. Could put it right here. I might just put it right here. Let me put it right here. So I'm put this one right here. Just a good strike point. Then we see the retest here, the rejection wick off the level, which is a good sign. Then we see I was pushing above this level right here. So your GBP is looking good. I could see a potential buy setup now. Will it go zone to zone is another question. But I do see a good buy setup here to at least go up to here. It should be a good 20 pips. And if it could continue to go from there, that'd be nice. But I do see a nice little setup here. Yeah, those things are just dumping. US30 NAS is dumping. USDX is dumping. So yeah, USDX is a little too far from my favor, but I like how NAS is looking. So on that note, I want to enter, but there's 2 minutes to the next candle. I'm gonna wait till the next candle, see what it does. But I definitely like how NAS is looking. USDX kind of doing what gold did. It just ran. You looked away and it ran on you. That's a huge dump right there. That is very similar to gold's huge dump as well as silver's. So I'm going to leave those alone and potentially look for a new retest. I could have entered right there, but I was looking at other pairs. Missed the opportunity, which is fine. NAS is doing a nice little retest. Struggling to break this level of traffic, which is normal, but when volume comes into play, if it really wants to go down, it will break those levels. But NAS is looking like a good sell. We can get a few We can get a couple thousand pips at least off NAS. For sure, we can get a couple thousand pips. Now, will it go zone to zone? That's another question, but I'm pretty sure we can catch a couple thousand pips off NAS. That's no issue. Yeah, because even from right here, 755 to right here, that's still a few thousand pips. So I am not worried about that at all. Just going to see what the next candlestick is going to show us to see if I want to enter. US oil still hasn't moved much, but it's underneath that zone, which is a good sign. AUD New Zealand pushed down after the retest, which is a great sign. And it's like this level. So we're going to see what this next candlestick does. It looks like it's dropping. So AUD New Zealand is looking like a good sell as well. Just going to see what it is going to do. Then I might put my stop loss. I could put my stop loss here. I could put it right here. I might just do that because that's still a good 1 to 3 trade. That's still good. That's 1 to 3 trade here. Did a retest and it's pushing down. So, yeah, AD New Zealand is looking pretty good. Now, JPY, this red candle. I'd like to see red candle push back down. I'd like to see push back down. So, are y'all going to do that for me? Is the question. But yeah. Well, unfortunately, we entered a little too early on that one, but it is fine. We're still underneath the zone. Not tripping too much about that. Trying to see what AUD New Zealand is going to do. I feel like there's another pair I was looking at, Euro GBP. Yeah. So we're looking at Euro GBP and AUD New Zealand. They're both looking good. Euro GBP is starting to push, which is a good sign. But it's staying at this level here, so I want to see what it decides to do. It's underneath this level of price here, so I want to see what it decides to do. Just like AUD New Zealand, it's retesting. All these are shooting up right now, which is fine. Which is fine. Now let's see what US30 is doing. So US30 is still underneath this level here. Yeah, this is looking like these are really tempting me to enter sales. But I know it's Monday still, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to go all the way on the zone, at least not until New York session, most likely. So if I do enter right now, it'll just be for a quick couple thousand pips. Yeah, I'm leaving SPX alone, leaving GBPJPY alone. USDX too far gone for me. US oil is retesting. Gold's doing a retest. Silver, not so much. So I want to keep an eye on these and see what they're doing. Euro GBP looks like it's trying to push. Just like AUD New Zealand, it's looking like it wants to push. Still hasn't broken past that level. It's a good sign. It's struggling to break past that level. AUD New Zealand is looking potentially good. Euro GBP is looking good too. I see it definitely hitting these highs here, and these highs there. So that thing's still pushing. Kind of want to call it. GBPJPY is still pushing. Gold still in the retest. Yeah, it's just retesting. US30 is retesting. So there's a lot of potential moves, but things are still trying to figure out what they're going to do. Euro GBP is looking good though. New Zealand is pushing up. So the AUD just got some volume put into it because all the AUD pairs are pushing up slightly against the pairs that you could be selling against. And they're all pushing up right now, which is cool. Not tripping too much. I still believe it's most likely going to go our way. Just got an early entry on it. See the wick right here. Literally was one pip away from our first TP. Then it retraced, so I'm not really tripping too much about that. It's pretty normal. But I'm still keeping an eye on my trade to see what's going on. Still underneath the level here. And when volume picks up, it could very well continue to push down. Because as we can see here, this is a huge consolidation level where every time it's been under here, it's shot down, shot down, shot down, shot down, shot down. Very few times it's broken above. It's rarely hit the top of the zone. And then when it has hit the top of the zone on this level, it's shot all the way back down to the bottom of the next zone. We see that here. We see that here. We see that here. We see it here. We see it here. Hasn't broken above the top of the zone since April, and then it did it again the 13th. But when it did that, it dropped back down to where we're at now. So it'd be very interesting if it just flips and decides to push up on us. That'd be very interesting. But it's not impossible. But it'd be very interesting. So I'm still going to hold my trade. I always hold trade to SL or TP. So I'm still going to hold that and see what it does later into the London, New York session. ED New Zealand did a retest. This looks like it's trying to push down. Euro GBP. Yeah, so this is good. Euro GBP is doing a little retest on this level of price. So depending on what the next candlestick looks like, I may or may not look to enter this. But there's the GBP news. It is a bank holiday for GBP. So that's something to keep in mind. Everything's looking good at this thing. All right, so the next candlestick shot back up. It's right here. It's a good thing I didn't enter this one. So now looking at this, let's go ahead and delete this because that was just a trade idea. But now seeing that it shot up that aggressively, now we're going to see if it's going to push back under here or if it's going to come to the top of the zone where we could potentially see how it reacts to the top of the zone to see if we would like to enter this or not. Because it's kind of in a little sandwich right now. Traced after it hit this. I wanted to see if it's going to break under and continue down. Decided not to do that. Decided to reject off the level, like a support level, which it did here, here, and here, and then we see it reject as resistance level here and here. So it's nothing crazy. We see the same thing here. So all we're going to be doing here is just observing and seeing what it decides to do. Because again, we do not control the markets. We're simply a leaf in the current, and our job is to do our best to determine what is most likely going to happen. Keyword most likely. It's not what is guaranteed to happen. It is what is most likely going to happen. And that is where proper risk management and putting an SL comes into play, because proper risk management and putting an SL will help you out with that. So this is just a trade idea. I'm just getting it set up so I can see it visually. I'd probably put the stop loss right here, honestly. So this is a potential 1 to 3 risk to reward if it goes our way. Like I said, when gold and silver go up, US oil goes down. And we can see that happening right here. When gold goes up, oil usually goes down. For the most part. Of course, there are some exceptions, but for the most part, that is how things work with those two pairs. AUD New Zealand still looking like so. AUD JPY pushing back down. Same thing with Zealand JPY. Nothing to get excited over yet. Because again, if we would have entered at this candlestick after it did that huge retracement, we'd be straight. But we're in a little drawdown. We waited for a little retracement, but the retracement I was really looking for happened the next candlestick. Is what it is. It is a part of the game. So now I'm keeping an eye on the two trades we're in, but also looking at this one because I am looking at potentially entering AUD New Zealand, and then I'm also looking at Euro GBP, so I might enter that, but I might leave it alone at the same time. It just depends on what I see when the time comes. I see a potential US oil sell, potentially, but again, this is just the second candlestick underneath the zone. We see the retest here. We see another retest, which is cool. It's broken past these past 2 wicks, as we can see here, which is a good sign. So these are all good signs, but still too early, in my opinion, to enter the trade. Now, very much so, in 3 minutes, it could very much so just rip, just like how we saw gold do, just like how we saw silver do, USDX do, etc., etc. It could very much do that. But you still have to, I still want to see that for myself that is doing that. Because as we can see here, US30 is still reacting off of this level. Hasn't broken this level. We see the wick here in the last 15-minute candlestick, but it didn't break past it, which is a good sign. So it could potentially still do like I said, continue to the downside, which would be great, but that probably won't happen till closer into New York session, which is fine. See what we see here. Yeah, so we're just going to be chilling for a little bit. No action yet. But it is Monday. We're just 43 minutes into London session. So, you know, moves don't always happen quick. Sometimes it take a little while to start to do its thing. Sometimes they do happen quick. But you can't expect every trade to do what the last trade did, which is why it's important to always be looking on the candlesticks, always looking at the chart so you know exactly what is going on, instead of just looking at the negative number or the blue number on your screen and trying to wonder what's going on. It's better to always look at a chart, because the chart's going to tell you a lot more than a dollar amount or a negative dollar amount on your phone. You'll be able to see exactly what price is doing, why it's most likely doing it, what it potentially can do next. This, that, and the third. There's a lot of, it's just countless benefits to why you should look at a chart and know how to read a chart. And if you are confused on things I'm seeing, why I'm saying things I'm saying, this, that, and the third, I do have a video on my YouTube channel titled How to Read Candlesticks. Also, how to identify a trend. Both those videos I explain in detail, step by step, very transparent, how to read candlesticks, things I look for, what different candlesticks mean, as well as how to identify the trend video. I do an example of a trend changing, signs to look for to identify a potential trend change, as well as signs to look for the trend to most likely continue, and etc. So definitely check those videos out. After the live stream, I highly suggest checking those out. Those will help you out. Because again, as we saw, all these candlesticks do the same thing. Now, when I say that, I don't mean they do the same thing at the same time, but they all react the same way. They react off these levels of price. They stack off of each other. They bounce off of each other off smaller levels and smaller time frames. They all still go with overall direction on the daily time frame. This, that, and the third. So that's what I mean by, price and all the candlesticks. If you're able to read one chart, after a while, you'll be able to read any chart. It's not exaggeration. So, 80 JPY, New Zealand JPY struggling a little bit. Look like they're stuck at this level right here. Let's see here. ADCHF, one of the trades I was looking at earlier, is in a good position. I'm going to see what this next candlestick does. AD New Zealand is also in a somewhat good position. When we move this out the way, we can see this rejection wick here. We can see where the wick landed, hit the top of this level, literally hit the top of it, the bottom of these candles here. As you can see here, hit the bottom of these candles here. Then rejected. We got this next candlestick rejecting off this level of price as well. So if it doesn't break past this wick, that's a good sign that it could potentially continue to the downside. But that's what we're looking at right now to see what it's doing. But like I said, AUD has definitely got some volume pumped into it since London session started. That is for sure. So we just got to see if it's going to continue like that. While we also look at, so it hasn't broken past that wick yet. It's pretty close. But we're going to see what it's going to do. ADCHF's looking cool. Zealand CHF's looking nice. Well, I'm not say looking well. It's looking like a potential setup, so I'm going to keep an eye on it, I should say. And as you can see, rejection wicks, gold's trying to push down. We see oil, rejection wicks, opposite side, gold pushing up, retesting the zone for the third time, third 15-minute candlestick in a row. You can see that happening. US30 is still underneath this level, hasn't really gone too far from since it rejected off for the third time this zone. NAS100 following US30's footsteps, but as you can see, it's still underneath that level, and price is still trying to push down. On gold, on silver, yeah, gold. Man, we missed that opportunity, but it's all good. Gold's doing this thing. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're just gonna be chilling. We're just about to be an hour into London. Nothing too crazy going on. But this is what I'll be doing, y'all. When I be calling trades, I literally just be chilling, just observing the charts, seeing what potential opportunities can come to me, and also y'all getting to see the mindset while in trades. Because again, we are in a little bit of drawdown, but looking at the bigger picture, price could still potentially most likely go our way. So you never want to just close a trade because you're in drawdown for a little bit. You always want, that's what the SL is for. Don't worry about this number on your screen, because that's when properly risking this percentage you want to risk per trade comes into play. It's just simple math. But let the stop loss worry about price for you. Because if you risk the proper amount and you do the proper math, drawdown should not really phase you. So I'm not really bothered by it. I'm still see exactly what's going on. It's still showing signs that it is trying to continue to the downside, as you can see here. So I'm not really tripping too much. Now again, I'm just repeating this for myself mainly, because again, things you do right, you want to identify mistakes or things you can kind of improve on, you want to identify. And like I said, I knew price was going to retrace, but literally in the next candlestick it shot up. So if we would have just waited a little longer, we could have got a better entry, but it could have also potentially kept pushing down. So we still had a decent entry either way. But for those that didn't enter right on time, y'all seen this, saw the signal later when I entered it, y'all got a better entry than me. And y'all are probably up right now. So good for y'all. But it is part of the game. New Zealand JPY is showing a little bit more action than AUD. But that's because, like I said, the AUD got a lot of volume pumped into it out of nowhere, which is not too much of a big deal. Zealand USD is still dumping. Zealand CHF is trying. Zealand CAD's coming back down, pushing back down. Nah, so it's looking like either 6 a.m. or New York sessions when we're probably going to jump into the future indices, because it's retesting the zone level for the fourth time, but it's still respecting it, which is normal. But the more volume picks up in New York session, I think that is when I just do. Okay. I think that is when the action is really going to start. And like I said in the thing, I will be streaming New York session today at 6:30 a.m. Pre-New York session, I should say. But that's just going to be members only stream. But on YouTube every day, I will be streaming Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 4:30 for the most part. So Euro GBP, it is showing that it wants to push, which is a good sign because they did the retest here, blah, blah, blah. We got these 3 wicks right here. So this one's looking pretty good. This is looking like a good little setup. Let's see. Might call this out. Yeah, the AUD is just strong right now. I'm going to see if it's going to fix itself later. But Euro GBP is looking good right now. Let's see here. Just gonna keep an eye on it. See what this next 5-minute candle does. So it looks like it's trying to stack on this top of level price, which is a good sign. This would be this is looking good fish. $87.70. $87.75. Do. Yeah, I'm entering this. I like how it looks. Yeah, entering this. And again, like always, use proper risk. Don't over leverage. Don't put all your cards in on one trade. But I did enter this one, and I did put my entry as well as selling TP in the chat. So we're going to see what this one does. So your GBP, the first few TPs are going to be 5 pip intervals. Because again, I just want to go step by step to see. Just got to go step by step. Because I want to see it break past these highs. Because again, when this wick happened, the wick just happened at the same level. But on the 5-minute, we could see that it is attempting to stack on this level of price. So the next candlestick comes into play. I would like to see it break past these levels. That's what I'd like to see. 5, 8, 8. Yeah, so I'd like to see it break past these levels. So we're going to see what it does. Goals are tracing. Then we see this rejection wick here. Now oil's pushing down while gold's pushing up. So with these, I'm really going to be waiting as close to, I can already see I'm most likely going to wait close to New York session for these, just to make sure that they are trying to go the direction they're going and we don't get the script flipped on us. Now NAS is looking very nice. NAS is still doing this thing, but just look at US30 and you'll see that it's doing the same thing US30 is doing. But it is under the zone, which is a good sign. So NAS is looking very nice for a potential entry very tempted to enter NAS, but I just want US30 to confirm that it wants to be underneath the zone. And after I see that, I will most likely enter NAS. USDX is doing the same thing NAS is doing. So again, I might enter those. US30 is pushing, but one more minute until the next candlesticks appear, which will really tell us. Well, TP1 just got hit for Euro GBP, so we can say that. Actually, what? Yeah, TP1 just got hit. So there's that. And then as you can see, literally as soon as it hit it, it retraced, and that's what I say. Well, first, let's look at the recap of last week. Last week, Monday, 14,833 pips. On Tuesday, 25,596 pips. Wednesday, 18,119 pips. Thursday, 42,246 pips. And holding on to the trades on Thursday and entering new trades on Friday. We caught 91,470 pips on Friday alone. Okay, that is a lot of pips. 91,470 pips. That is literally $900 minimum off of 0.01, which is insane. But going to what I was saying, like I said right here, when TBS hit, either reject, break through, or play at that level of price. And we literally saw as soon as TP1 got hit, it rejected a little bit, but that is normal. I want to see it stack on top of this level of price and continue to the upside. So I'm going to look and see if that is what price decides to do. We got New Zealand JPY pusher. So again, those that enter the trade late, y'all got better entries than me, and y'all are up right now. AUD JPY is pushing back down. AUD New Zealand looks like it's setting up for us. Let's see here. The Zealand CHF's looking good. I might be paying attention to that one a little closely because that is looking good. Let's see what oil is doing. Oil's pushing, so oil's looking pretty good. I like how oil's looking. Now, oil could. Thing is, it's just been dumping. It's been above this level. It's been dumping pretty hard. But zooming out, we can see overall we've been in a downtrend. It's been kind of a long downtrend, but we've been overall in a downtrend. You can see very clearly, you know what I'm saying, the lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. You see very clearly we've been in a downtrend. Did a little retracement here, continue the downtrend. So, of course, natural, I'm looking for sales. This one's looking very good. This is looking like a very good sell opportunity here. But everything is showing signs it wants to dump. USDX. NAS is doing a retest. Again, following US30. US30 is under the zone though, so that is very good. So if it stays underneath the zone and does a little bit of this, that is going to be looking good for us. But even gold's dumping now with oil. Very interesting. Very interesting. Euro USD dumping 2. Euro GBP. It retraced a little bit. It retraced back to entry, but I see that for the long run still pushing up when volume picks up. So I'm not tripping about that too much. Let's see here. AD New Zealand. So retraced up a little bit. We got Zealand JPY, a little bit above entry, but still looking decent. Got New Zealand CHF doing its thing. Yeah, so things are looking good. So these are the setups I'm looking for London into New York. I'm going to have the pre-New York Zoom call stream in a few hours for the members. Oil's looking good though, so I'm going to keep an eye on oil. I'm keeping a close eye on oil, and I'm going to be looking at, I'm still going to keep an eye on AD New Zealand, but I'm going to be looking at New Zealand CHF. I'm going to be looking at oil. And of course, keeping an eye on the trades we're currently in. As you can see, they have retraced back down towards entry. So those that entered late are up right now, but those that entered with me is retraced right back down to entry, which is a good sign. And we can see your GBP is retracing, rejecting off this level and shooting back up a little bit, which is also a good sign. Yeah, but so the oil's looking good. I'm gonna keep a close eye on oil. US30 shot back to the zone. So it's gonna be doing that for a little bit. But yeah, these are the setups I'm looking at. I want to see exactly what these are gonna do. Those that are watching, make sure to hit that like button if y'all learned something from the stream. Make sure to watch the previous streams as well. Make sure to join that free signal room if you're not in it. First link in the description. Yeah, a little slow paced one. But again, we can see Euro GBP shooting back up. Almost back at TP1 again. Literally back at TP1 and pushing. Seeing in real time, price doing what I say price does. When a TP is hit, you'll either reject, break through, keep an eye on your charts. When TP got hit, first thing it did was it rejected down, which we saw live. Then it retested, and now it's breaking through. And we're 4 pips away from the next TP. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Let's see here. And just going to be patiently waiting for these two to do their thing while keeping an eye on New Zealand CHF because that's looking like a good setup. And then just keep an eye on the futures to see what they decide to do. Oil is dumping, but I don't want to just jump in it so soon. I'm going to wait for the next candlestick to determine if I want to jump into oil. Yeah, we see Euro GBP pushing, just like I said. Could have entered right here, which is fine. We missed a couple pips. We entered literally 4 pips later. We entered right here, which is still not a bad entry because we're looking at the bigger picture. Want to hit here, and if we can break past here, which is the middle of the zone, see at the top of the zone. But as of now, everybody that entered is in profit. TP1 got hit, and literally like literally the next candlestick got hit. But the TP was a smaller TP. compared to other TPs. So that also has something to do with it. I'm not gonna sit there and act like we just caught, 30 pips, but we still making some money. 80 JPY. Still trying to go down. Like I said, AD is pretty strong right now. We can see New Zealand JPYs a little bit more smoother going back down. It's underneath this level of price again. So I want to see it stay underneath this level of price, and I want to see it break past this level of price. And then we'll be making some money. So that's what I want to see happen. Ideally. So gold and all that's retracing, which is good for us. But we also see oil retracing too. So oil is acting a little weird because, again, like I said, usually when gold and the futures are pushing up, oil is pushing down. But if we look to the left, we can see clearly why oil is doing what it's doing. All we have to do, all I'm going to do something very simple, y'all. I'm about to put this wick right here, right where I'm going to put this line right where this wick ended, right? And then what I'm going to do is turn the line yellow. Then we're going to zoom to the left. And we can literally see what price did. Price hit this level of price above these two candlesticks, above this candlestick here. The same way this candlestick rejected off of this level. And that is literally what we see oil doing. So if oil can break past this level, that's just another good sign that could potentially continue to the downside, which is also why I want to wait to the next candlestick, because if we would have entered there, we'd be in drawdown because it retraced. And now in 5 minutes, we could potentially get a better entry. All right. But I'm going to be keeping an eye on these charts. And I'm going to see my members into New York session. And I'm going to see the rest of y'all in the free signal room.